to your schedule, are you more of a time blocker or a list maker? Hey everybody, I'm Michelle Carr and welcome to Your Delicious Life, where each week we take a look at life from a different perspective and we either learn something new or get reminded of something that we already knew. This week's episode is all about our schedules, and it's called Time Blocking versus Task Lists. Now, you might be in the time blocking camp and have everything scheduled out. You might be in the task list camp and you might have a list of everything you need to do in a day. And you might kind of jump between both. And that's exactly what I want to get into today is how can we bring both approaches together? Because they each have their pros and cons. So how do we take the best of both and make an awesome schedule? When it comes to planning ahead, I'm totally your gal. I think it's super important for us to plan. But usually when I hear the word plan, I associate schedule or time blocks with it. And although we have a lot of things scheduled in our lives, not everything is. Some of the things that we do are more task-oriented than they are time-bound. So how do we bring these two things together? Do we schedule absolutely everything into our calendar, right down to minute or 2-minute tasks? Do we just hope it all works out and not schedule anything at all? And what if we don't know how long something's going to take? How do you manage that? First, let's clarify the difference between a task-focused item and a time-focused item. So when it comes to tasks, those are generally things that we need to get done, but they're not necessarily at a specific time in the day. Now, these could be things that don't take very much time at all. It could be responding to an email. It could be posting something on social media or paying a bill, something that can be done pretty quickly. Or a task could also be something that would take much longer. Maybe it's writing a blog post or filming a video. Maybe it's updating your business plan or doing your month end. There's lots of things that could go in that category as well. Again, things that we need to get done, but that aren't necessarily at a specific time, just at some point during the day. Now, the time-focused things we kind of mentioned earlier are the items that we have scheduled right into our calendar, appointments and meetings, or they might be things that need to happen at a certain time in the day, like maybe picking up your kids from school. That has to happen at a specific time. So now we know the difference between the two. How can we bring them together? I don't know about you, but I would feel super overwhelmed if every single task in my day was scheduled down to the minute. Because if things went off the rails, I would just feel behind. And then on top of that, I think it's really important that we schedule in breathing room because things do go off the rails. Now, all this being said, we can't plan absolutely nothing because then we're just kind of hoping and praying we get it all done. So in order to bring these two ideas of scheduling and time-focused activities, as well as our task-focused activities, I think what we have to do is start first by looking at our schedule to see what time-focused activities we're committed to. What meetings or appointments do we have? What needs to go in the calendar? Then if we look at our task list, maybe some of our tasks are quite big or they will take a fair amount of time. Creating a block to do that task is a great idea because it lets you focus and it also sets a limit. So if it's a task that it's something you love to do and you can get lost in time, it's not a bad idea to have an alarm to kind of bring you back to focus so you can move on to the next thing. And at the same time, if it's a task you don't really want to do, knowing that you only have to focus and work on this for an hour is sometimes the motivation you need to just get it done so you don't have to block another hour to do it again. If you have several tasks that are smaller but similar, you could group those together. So maybe there's a number of things that you have to do for a specific client or a particular area of your business. You might create a time block so that you can do those tasks, all of those tasks, in that one time frame. Or it could be something like doing errands where you know you have to go out and drive around a bunch of places. Maybe you clump all of those at once as opposed to leaving to go out once in the morning and then once at lunch and then once in the afternoon. It just makes more sense to streamline it if you can. Another trick that I do sometimes that works is mini goals. So I will sometimes set a challenge for myself to try and do as many of my tasks, if not all of them, before my first meeting or before lunch. And I get a sense of satisfaction from knowing it's all checked off and it's only 10 a.m. So if you want to set little goals for yourself and little tricks like that, that can totally help. Quick sidebar, whenever I think about setting mini goals for myself, I always think about this meme or skit I saw at some point. I think it was Will Ferrell. And he basically said that I always try to see how much I can do when I have 30 seconds left on the microwave, or when I'm reheating a coffee or popcorn's in the microwave, whatever the case may be. And I mean, it was funny, obviously, to imagine someone buzzing around the kitchen for those 30 seconds, but it's a great way to look at our task list sometimes. You know, what can I accomplish in this shorter period of time so that I can check the things off my list and then keep moving on with my day afterwards. Making it all work is really like having a bird's eye view of our schedule and seeing our schedule as a puzzle. You know, we have pieces that are time specific, appointments or meetings we need to be at, but then we also have things that maybe are similar that can be grouped together and we can set aside time to work on those. And then maybe there's these other little pieces that can get tucked in here and there so that we can get those tasks done as well. And maybe we even have a blank section of the puzzle that allows us time to be creative or to connect, where we're not bound by time, but we're focused on the task at hand. Elevating our view of our schedule really helps us to see that it's a collection of all these different approaches. There's no one perfect way to plan your week. But if you can take some of these principles and some of these ideas, I really think that you'll make the absolute best use of your time and you'll feel successful with the things that you're able to accomplish. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you again next week for the next episode. Take care.